Hello and welcome to Third Eye Thinkers. I am your host, Michelle Welch.
Hi, I'm your host, Megan Benanti. Thanks for joining us today.
Today we're really excited about our guest. His name is Dakota Lawrence, and Dakota is a gifted clairvoyant, medium, and psychic paranormal investigator from Shreveport, Louisiana. Hi, Dakota. Although he believes in the paranormal, how are you doing? He keeps a skeptic stance on it as well. Dakota has a history of incredibly gifted psychics in his family, and at the very early age of 12, he knew that he himself was gifted, and he began doing readings for others. He embraces his Native American family heritage. With every reading, he respectfully approaches his Native ancestors and asks for assistance and guidance. When Dakota was 15 years old, he had a life-changing moment in that he realized that not everyone had the gift that he has and that his family had. Even though he had been doing readings since age 12, he decided that at age 15 to begin doing his readings professionally. Yes, I said age 15, professionally.
Wow.
And he consistently receives praises from his clients, his attributes, his gifts and talents, attributes his gifts and talents to God and serves his clients with the utmost respect. Dakota has been guiding people on matters of life questions, lost loved ones, and missing person cases for pretty much since she was 15.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go on with a little bit more of that because we haven't finished introducing him yet. So Dakota's got a really upbeat personality, and he's very Southern style. And he's one of the most recognized readers within the paranormal and metaphysical community. I know he's been to Dallas several times, and I'm sure he's traveled around the world doing his work. Dakota's style is unlike most psychics. It's straightforward and really honest, and he explains everything to you in the ways that you can understand it. He believes that honesty is the best policy, and a little bit of edginess never hurt either. So each reading with him is really a unique experience, and his readings are what he calls on the soul level. So it helps the client understand what's going on in their life and what's going on around them, which in turn can help them improve their own lives and reach their own personal enlightenment.
Right.
So thanks for joining us today, Dakota.
Thank you.
Dakota.
I didn't hear half of that, so hopefully I can start hearing y'all now.
Okay.
I couldn't hear half of that. I was like, wait, what? Huh?
It was
Okay,
your-
I'm just going to smile awkwardly when I see myself.
We just introduced you.
Yeah.
So one of the really interesting things, I think, Dakota, that most people want to know that catches us right away is that you had some sort of life-changing moment, it says in your bio, at the age of 15, and that's when you began to read professionally, even though you've been reading for a long time for other people since you were 12 and maybe before that. But what happened at 15?
Well, I actually started reading at 12. That was when I started. And then what people don't get is that I was raised in an intuitive household. So this was never weird to me. It was never not normal. All of those things like that. So when September 11th happened, I had a dream about it back in February of 2001. And in that dream, I had dreamed that the towers were on fire. And I was actually, it's kind of like, we all knew where we were when that moment happened. Mm-hmm. And I was in first period class my freshman year of high school. And I said out loud, oh, well, that's weird. In my dream, both towers were on fire. And it was a few minutes later when I went home, because my mom, of course, came to check me out and everything, that was when the second plane hit. And people realized then, like, oh, well, how do you know that? And I had to have a long talk with my grandmother, who was a huge mentor to me, when she told me, oh, yeah, by the way, not everybody does this. So it was kind of an awkward coming out day for me.
Right.
Good. Well said.
Good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you communicate, or Megan, did you want to take over?
Oh,
the question,
yeah.
or
Go.
just go
No,
ahead?
it's fine.
Go for
So
it.
I was just saying that do you communicate with spirits, or do you actually receive impressions?
Whenever I do, say the mediumship readings, which of course has become the most popular, whenever you see me in a gallery setting, I'll talk about feeling a certain vibration, and I'll physically feel that pain, or I'll physically feel that energy. And when it comes to communicating with the spirits and that kind of thing, the way I describe it is like a knowing sense. Mm-hmm. And I'll go and I'll see, if they're showing me a ring, then I'll actually see that ring in my mind's eye and describe that ring to them, or describe that impression that I get to that person. So to me, it's kind of all in one and the same. Okay. The whole hearing them physically thing would freak me out really bad. And I'd be like, oh my God, am I schizophrenic?
Mm-hmm. Well, you've said before that you do get startled easy. I mean, you something scare you. So, right? I mean, you said that on
Spiders,
Facebook the other
snakes,
night.
aliens.
You said that you
No.
got scared. Well, how do you deal with people then? It sounds like you get some sort of validation when you're doing the mediumship readings, because you will
yeah.
get a sensation. So a lot of times you'll get the validation back. How do you deal with people who like don't believe in what you're saying, or maybe they judge you for what you're doing?
It's funny. It was actually just on Friday, because I do a lot of radio here in Shreveport. I do the AM and FM stations here in Shreveport. And I was doing one of the FM stations here. And somebody commented on their Facebook wall of like, all mediums are charlatans. They feed off your background information.
Whoa.
They do this, they do that. And the one thing, and Michelle, you can attest to this because you've seen my shows a few times now. And Megan, yeah, you've seen one of my shows too. I hate when people talk too much. If you want to tell me your life story, then book a private reading, because I don't want to hear it in a gallery. I'm not trying to be mean. I just don't want to hear it. So for me, I just want the name and the connection to them, and then that's it. So when I see that guy comment that on the Facebook, of course, my immediate response was, that was really a jerk move. But I realized, you know what? The reading I had just done on air was one of those ones that you're kind of like, all proud of afterwards. And I'm like, I can't really go and change that. I can't really go and make that be any different. So I can't change their opinion. And to me, it's about validation. It's about closure. It's about that kind of thing to me. So if they're not okay with that, then I can't change that for them. Does that make sense?
Right.
Yes, it does. It makes a lot of sense.
How do you deal, or how do you help those that have lost someone to suicide? Because that's like a really tough one for people.
Suicide to me is end-stage depression. You see people that are battling terminal illnesses, and I think that for some people, depression can be a terminal illness, and that's the final outcome. I don't believe that suicide victims go to hell. First and foremost, I've never met one yet that was, or any spirit that was in hell. So for me, it's helping them understand exactly that when they made that decision, whether it was from a long battle with depression or from a place of anger or from a place of guilt or that kind of thing, that was the end stage of that disease. That was the end stage of them going through that. And that we can't go and look at someone that commits suicide any differently than someone that dies from cancer. Because to me, they're both similar diseases. They take over your life and they destroy your energy.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah, that's beautifully said. And that connection, I really hadn't thought about it that way, that it was a really long time coming. I love that.
I do too. And I will validate that as far as with my readings. I grew up being taught that there was a heaven and hell, and I've never seen anyone in hell. So, I mean, when I really started tapping in and doing the readings, when I was younger, I was just kind of like in church going, well, there's spirits all around you, but then you get made fun of when you saw those spirits or when you heard them or talked to them, and then you get labels that something's wrong with you.
Yeah.
But then it really has given, I think you probably give a lot of people a lot of hope when, they have someone who has passed due to suicide, to tell them, because that's one of the biggest things I'm sure you get, that they're worried.
Yeah.
If they're brought up in a certain
Right.
religion, they're very worried about that.
And it's one of those things that I've never hidden my battle with depression. And I've talked about it openly in shows and in interviews and formats like this, that I tried it twice when I was 19. And I tell someone that when you're in that zone and that when you're in that place, there is no cognitive thinking anymore. Your view and your perception of reality, isn't something that unless you've been there, you can really describe to someone else. And I try to explain it to them the best way is imagine being in a dark room. There's no light and there's no chance of light. And that's what you're trying to escape.
Yeah.
Wow.
I agree with that. So we see back in the background, I know personally that you have a lot of cats and you love your cats.
I have 3 little babies.
What do you, right now you have 3. You've had about how many at one time?
When I was taking in the strays, now keep in mind, they were on the patio and I would take them from the patio inside, adopt them out. So I had this constant rotation. I was feeding 17.
Wow.
So
That's
you
But I
awesome.
only had
Yeah.
4 living inside, and I would take in one, calm it down, adopt it out, take in another one, calm it down, adopt it out. So I wasn't too crazy of a cat person.
But you are now. You're a crazy cat. I mean, but you love cats in that way. Maybe not crazy cat person, but Our producer,
I like animals.
our
Yeah.
producer
Period.
Matt actually also takes in cats. Matt, how many do you have now? I'm catching Matt off guard.
No, yeah. I've got, we have 3 of our own, and I've got 2 fosters that are about to go to their homes. So I'm very,
you
very
found homes
happy
for them.
Very
Good.
happy for that.
That's great.
But yeah, we have a constant rotation as well at our house.
Awesome. Yeah. So Dakota, Matt took in some black cats that,
I love black cats.
yeah. So, so I'm glad you found them homes. That's awesome.
I was really worried for a while because, I mean, I'm sure anybody who has ever done any sort of rescue knows that black cats are one of the hardest because people just don't adopt them for one reason or another.
You know what's interesting? I'm sorry, Dakota. Go ahead.
No, I had 2 black cats that were born on Friday, October 13th.
Wow.
And that was the first time I ever had, because I have a lot of eclectic, cool friends. That was the first time I ever had waiting lists for foster kittens
Well,
because they all wanted them.
Oh,
you know,
wow.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, a black cat born on October 13th. And I'm like, well, yeah, it's cool.
I think
That is special.
Yeah, I think it depends on where you are.
Yeah.
Because I talked to a friend of mine that takes in a lot of dogs and cats. She works with the SPCA here in Dallas. SPCA, right? And her name's Kathy, and she told me that it's actually the same with black dogs, Matt. And they have speculated that for the dogs that it's due to the fact that they don't take great pictures. I know that sounds really silly, but that's what most of the adoption agencies have thought is because they don't take. You can't really see the dog, and you can't see the
wow.
warmth of their
Yeah.
eyes in the pictures. So it's interesting that the black dogs also are some of the last to go. I didn't know that.
Yeah, not to go
yeah.
on a tangent, but if you are in the foster, take great pictures because that's the biggest thing that we do that I think other fosters don't is not take great pictures. You take a good picture and you get it out there, people will want to adopt that dog.
Yeah,
or
that's
that
right.
cat. Yeah.
So Dakota, I know you have a cat named Stevie Nicks, or
Yes.
Stevie. And
Stevie Rhiannon. Yeah.
Oh, okay,
After
Stevie Rhiannon.
Nicks.
So after
Yeah.
Stevie Nicks, because you love Stevie Nicks, like I do.
Yes, obsessed.
Don't we all?
Obsessed.
Yeah.
Yes, don't we all?
Yeah.
So, with your animals, and we talked about this earlier, or you and I have talked about this. I know that you don't always connect with animals that much, but you do though, because you're so close to your animals. I mean, you talk to your animals all the time. But how do you feel about? What's your opinion about animals and spirit?
I think animals totally, cross over into spirit. We can connect to them. One of my biggest pet peeves is years ago, I had a client ask about their dog that they had passed away. And all I heard in my head was the bacon strips commercials. Like, I want bacon strips, bacon strips. Oh boy, it's bacon, it's bacon.
Oh, wow.
And that created like this concrete mental block that I cannot get past as much as I've tried. And years ago, I actually got to work on a TV pilot with Sonia Fitzpatrick. And this is totally dating myself of how long I've been in this business. She had one of the first psychic TV shows.
Oh, wow.
And it was on Animal Planet, connecting to lost pets and, that kind of thing. I mean, this was, I think, mid-2000s, early 2000s. Like, it was one of the very first ones. And, from that, when I got to work with her, and she told me point blank, she goes, you should get past that mental block because people want to talk to their animals more than they do their dead moms. And I'm like, that's horrible to say, but I've had clients confirm that. So I really wish I could, but I can't.
Well, it's
I
just,
really wish I could.
we all have different things, but you just hear about bacon all the time, so that's why.
Oh, yeah, no. And we all have a different focus.
Yes.
So here's an interesting question. If people are reincarnate, can you still get a message for their loved ones, or is that like too confusing?
No, I don't think so. It is at all.
Okay.
You got to look at it this way. I believe that spirit guides are actually ourselves in past life, and we don't have some ethereal being that's following us around all the time. So if we can connect to our past lives ourselves as readers, and for those on a spiritual journey like that, that proves to me that there is an essence or a part of that soul that does stay behind that we're supposed to be learning from. And I think that part of that soul energy always stays as part of that universal consciousness and that universal awareness.
Oh, well said. Thank you. That's a great answer.
Yeah, a lot of people have asked me that, and now I'm going to have an answer for you. For them,
You're welcome.
according to Dakota.
Yeah,
But
$5 fee though.
yes,
No.
okay, yeah, I'll give you that.
Okay.
Here's the thing with you, Dakota. If we've both been to your galleries, and I've had you. You're coming to Soultopia this weekend. I'm going to just go ahead and let's get this out of the way. Soultopia this weekend, you guys. He is doing a gallery on Saturday night from 7 to 8. We do have some tickets left for that. His galleries are very entertaining and very informative, and people really get a lot of information from those. He's also doing some private readings. A lot of them are sold out. I believe the ones on Sunday, we still have some openings. You're going to need to call our store, Soultopia, 214-530-2326 to find out, or email us at bookings@soultopia.guru. But he has a few private readings left. And then you're also doing your mediumship class, which I taught him into doing at Soultopia. He never does it anywhere else.
Wow.
And it's a really, really big deal. And we have a couple of openings left for that. And Dakota, help me. That's on Sunday from 2 to 6. Yes.
Yes,
it
ma'am.
is. Yes, it is.
Yes,
So you guys call in, because I'm telling you, it will be sold out. He's only taking 20 in that, and we're pretty close to that now. So with that, having gone to those galleries, and Megan, you've gone, you're really a funny guy. I mean, you're being pretty reserved right now, but you're being pretty sophisticated
Film
right
lasts
now.
forever. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's like, get him off quick, because he's been really sophisticated. No, I'm kidding. No. But I love you, and I think, and you really have a really compassionate heart. You're also really blunt, so some people don't know that, but you've got a really, really compassionate heart. But how do you combine? You have such a good way, I think he does, Megan, of combining entertainment with genuine readings. How do you do that so well?
Well, it's kind of a long-winded answer, so you're going to have to forgive me.
Okay.
When I was 19 was when I first started traveling the U.S., doing all the shows, and I was doing a whole U.S. tour, flying to the different major cities and all that when I was 20, 21, 22, like that age. And a lot of readers didn't like me, because here they are in their 40s and 50s, and back then I was super skinny, and I had a very plastic attitude, and I admit that. I mean, thankfully I grew up past that, but they said, you'll never amount to anything. You're too young. You're too this. You're too that. So I always joke that I was the first psychic kid. I was the trailblazer, damn it. And and with that, I found that, and I would go to other psychic shows, and I'd want to just go in there purely to watch how they did them. Mm-hmm. And it turned into this giant cry fest. And it turned into this complete sob story. It was like watching A Star Is Born, like the last 15 minutes, because I just saw that movie last night. Like the last 15 minutes of that movie, and you're just sitting there and you're just bawling your eyes out, and you're like, oh my God, like, why did I put myself through this? And I paid to do this? Like, what? Like, I paid to go and regret life choices? Like, what am I doing? And I found that when someone's laughing and they're having a good time, even, with my shows, I've had shows that, have had stupid attendance numbers, and I like to keep them small now, I mean, not over 40, 50 people, as once it gets past that, I'm like, I don't want to do it, put a second show in there, because I want everybody to get something. But I also know that when I'm in that room for an hour, that not everybody's going to get something. So we need to all listen to each other's messages to heal. But also, I want you to leave that show having a good time. And a total little trick that I always say is that when people are laughing, when you laugh, you're letting your guard down. You're letting your energy down. You're letting yourself be raw and real, and you're not putting up any front. Because you can't be like, oh, ho, 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 ho. You're going to be sitting there all comfortable looking stupid.
Yeah.
You can't, you're going to look like, a jacked up Santa Claus, sitting there like, ho, 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 that was funny. You can't do that. And I found that when someone's laughing and having a good time, it makes my job so much easier, because their guard's down, so I can read them easier. So I can get them done like that. And I believe that bluntness, from my blunt, honest way, like, if your guy's a jerk, I'm going to say your guy's a jerk. I'm not going to say he's spiritually off balance. No, he's just a jerk, And I think that people need that. I think that we in the world today, we're so busy sugarcoating. We're so busy worrying about offending someone that we're being dishonest to that individual. I never come from a place of meanness. I never come from a place of hate. But you're never going to leave my office going, what did Dakota mean? Because it's just not going to happen. It's not.
Right. I know that's true. Yeah. And I'm always telling people, as blunt and I think we're both, Megan and I are both blunt in our reading, and very forward and candid and honest in our readings too. But you are pretty funny. You're not scared to tell people what you think. But you have such a good heart, and I know the compassion that you have. Yeah, so I know that you help a lot of people. I have one quick question. Do you have a certain amount of time that you would have somebody wait before they come and see you after a loved one has passed?
I normally like to wait a few months. 3 to 6 months is what I usually request. And it's not so much for the spirit's sake as the fact that they're still so emotionally fragile. What I have found is when I've bent that rule, because I can be a pushover. Don't tell anybody, though, as I say that on camera. Oops. I can be a pushover. And I'll be like, okay, well, go ahead and come in. And more often than not, it's a parent that's lost a child, because to me, that's the greatest loss you can ever suffer. It goes against the whole natural order of things and that kind of component, that they'll build almost an addiction to me to connect to their loved one.
Yeah.
And that's what I don't want. And I've actually had to go and tell clients, like, look, you're using me as your conduit to get to your son or to get to your daughter, get to your mom or your dad or whoever it is. This is not healthy. Like, I'm cutting you off because you've got to focus on your healing, and you coming to see me every 6 weeks, every 2 months, every month, every week, whatever, is blocking you. And it's blocking you from healing. And I can't in good conscience go and take advantage of someone like that. And to me, that's where you're taking advantage of someone.
Right.
Well said.
Yeah, really well said. Thank you. So what do you do with, or how do you deal with people that have lost a loved one from a terminal illness? What kind of closure comes for them?
Oh, I think that death is all the same. May it be suicide, terminal illness, unexpected accident, we're all hurting. I have found, and more often than not, when someone comes to me with a loved one that has suffered from a terminal illness, they didn't want them in the shape that they were in. They wanted them in the shape that they were. And it's helping them understand that no matter what they were suffering from, that was here in the physical. And when we cross over, we don't carry our cancers over. We don't carry our diabetes over. We don't carry whatever illness or depressions or things like that. We don't carry those energies over. And it's helping them understand that that suffering ended here and that suffering's done now.
Yeah.
It seems as though that would help someone that is facing terminal illness and hasn't crossed yet, or their loved ones, that you could actually do readings for them to give them hope while they have the terminal illness, because it's a scary thing. Yeah. So it seems like has anybody ever come to you in that situation where you can say, well, I know what I've seen. I know what I experience when they do pass, so I can give you hope now.
I will never tell someone when they're going to die or if they're going to die, because I have had clients that have come to me with stage 1 breast cancer, and they were going to do fine. Like, they were going to bounce back. It was going to be okay. Everything else just by the medical odds. And they believed they were going to die, and there was no changing that opinion. And then flash forward, they died. And then I've had clients that they've said, you're going to die. This is it. Game over kind of thing. And that was 15, 16 years ago now.
Yeah.
So I don't believe you should ever tell someone when they're going to cross over. What I tell somebody is that, look at the basic matters of energy. There is a soul. We have somewhat proved that from the medical journals that there is between 8 to 12 grams of body weight that disappears when a person crosses over. That's not from air being released or any kind of bodily functions being released. It's nothing like that. Science goes, we don't know what it is. And that's where science stops. So therefore, that proves that there is an energy that lives on. You follow the basic principle of energy, is that energy cannot be destroyed. So there has to be something that lives on.
Right.
That's cool.
Well, and I think we both agree that we would never talk about somebody that, tell them that,
that
they're going to die. But I think that it is a way that you can give people hope that are in fear.
Yeah, the old South Louisiana psychic. You gonna die.
You gonna die. Yeah.
You gonna die. You have to go down here to get that one. You have to go right there.
Yeah. And it's not one people really want to hear in general either. So and people ask that kind of question. Oh, am I gonna die? And it was like I'm not gonna see.
Well, we're all going to at some point.
Yeah, I'm like I'm not gonna see if you're gonna die.
At some point, we all are. Yes.
And it's a segue. Whenever and I've talked, and I am very particular about talking about my missing person cases, because I only work with police or direct family members. Law enforcement across the board there. And when a parent comes to me and says, is my child gone? What I say to them is, I will tell you what I feel has happened. I won't tell you if they're living or dead. because how can I judge what is alive and what's dead? Even if I know that their physical body has ceased to be, I'm not going to say, no, your child's dead. I'm going to say, I feel that this is the horrible tragedy that's happened. This is the horrible thing that's happened here and here, and go down that list. But I'm not going to sit there and say, you have no hope.
Right.
You know, I'm like, okay, we need to find where they're at. So if it is, you know, somewhere crossed over in a cornfield, we need to find their body. But their soul is living on. Their essence of who they are is living on.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really powerful stuff. I'm so glad that you're able to give that to people. That's a really great gift.
Well,
I wanted to be a lawyer.
Oh, believe me, I am one, and I'm doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
So, you can.
I
come
was like, I think you found your path, Dakota.
next jury that I pick, you guys can both come. We'll all go
Yeah.
pick a jury together. Wouldn't that be fun?
Oh, that'd be a hoot. Yeah.
But
let's all do
when
that.
people meet me and they're like, and I know this is my path, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. They're like, but what did you want to do before that? And I wanted to go into business law. And they're like, you want to be a lawyer? I'm like, I could get paid to argue. What better job is there than to pay to get to argue with somebody?
That's
You know,
funny.
But mainly, it turns out you're paid to negotiate, which I know you're very good at. You're good at writing contracts because you've helped me write some
That's
entertainment.
so
He writes
funny.
entertainment contracts. So
See, and
'cause
I
he's in
grew
the
up with
entertainment-
lawyers, so I was like, I will never be a lawyer. I do not want to argue professionally. So,
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
I just post something on Facebook and everybody argues. So, you know, it's
Yeah,
just, you can do
apparently
that,
so.
Apparently. So that's how we do it. I don't think we have time for readings today, do we?
well, we have like 2 minutes. So, do you want to, Dakota? Do you want to join us in a reading?
Just
I don't care.
okay.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
we'll tell you how we
okay.
do it. Okay. So
So, what we do is we pull out a couple of charms, and then we pull 2 cards with each charm. So we'll tell you what they are, and then our listeners, they choose which charm to go with. So today we have a candelabra, and we have a ice skate. And then let's look at our cards real quick with that.
okay. So viewers, you can choose either the candelabra or the ice skate.
Yeah, just one ice skate.
Just
So,
one.
Just one.
Pelican.
Okay. So candelabra, we have Queen of Swords in reverse, and we have 7 of Swords in reverse. And you can turn those around if that's easier for you, Michelle.
I like to look at the cards. Queen of Swords in reverse and the 7 of Swords in what deck is this?
This is the Victorian Romantic deck. It's so stunning. It's really beautiful. So, and if Dakota, if you have something already, jump on in on this.
I've got nothing. I'm just like drawing a blank with this candelabra. I keep looking at the cards though, and their cards are so beautiful. I feel like there's some sort of ritual that is, and it's the candelabra is 3, and I'm not really sure what the true meaning of that is. But for me, it just feels like there's some sort of ritual that whoever chose this one, that you should be maybe invite doing, and or like start it again. Like I feel like somebody has not been doing some rituals that they enjoy doing. And that's really all I'm getting from this, because
Okay.
I'm not even getting anything from the 7 of Swords in reverse.
Okay. To me, this is about family and reconnecting, particularly with the females in the family. We're talking about the soul here. And so I'm getting the idea of the candlelight as connecting as the light of the soul.
Oh, pretty.
But we've got 3 of them. And so, this is about the dynamic of unity and people coming together and connecting in that. And that 7 of Swords in reverse to me is about making amends and focusing on the past, present, and future all together, so that you know where you are in the world and kind of the direction that you're going.
Do you have anything, Dakota? I'm not trying to cut you off, Megan.
No.
Did you want to jump in?
For me, for the skate, what it appeared to
We're
me.
not onto this. Well, yeah, okay, so we'll start on the skate now.
I'm talking about the skate.
Okay.
That's what I got stuff on, too. I didn't get anything. Megan did a great job on the candelabra.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
okay.
to me, the skate was showing me about taking a chance, taking a risk. It's about going out there of not being afraid to hold back. And I feel that it's taking on the risk, even taking on the element of danger, and not being afraid of that, of focusing on that goal and going towards it.
Oh,
That's
wow.
totally what I got, because we have the skate and the Knight of Swords and then the Ace of Wands. And to me, it's just about going for it, like you said. And
Yeah.
actually, even if you're going it alone, even if you're, like you said, you know, I was the first one. I was at 12, I was at 15, and I blazed the path for everybody else.
Yeah.
It was me. So even if that's you, whoever picked this ice skate, the one ice skate,
Yeah.
I do see it as being just like, same thing. My eyes went immediately to that, and that's exactly what I got, Dakota. Is just like, go for it, and don't be afraid that you're the one, like, maybe doing things differently than everybody else, because maybe it's time.
Right. Yeah, I saw it as fearless, and the idea, you know, a skate, it cuts through something, and then we've got the swords and the ace of wands. So, yeah, fearlessness and go forward. There's a lot of take charge with that one. Whereas it's interesting, you know, the other set with the candelabra feels very subdued and kind of calm and focused on, you know, sort of a nesting phase, whereas the skate is very, very active right now.
I agree with that. That's well said. The candelabra, it seems very a little more cautious in a good way. Just kind of gathering all the chickens and kind of just roosting, like you said, just a nesting. And the other one's just like, go for it, and just like, you know, don't be afraid.
That's the one I liked. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. It's weird, because I was just like, I got nothing. on the
that
candelabra.
connected for both of you
I got
guys.
nothing.
That's awesome.
I'm like the candelabra. I'm like, is it gothic and pretty, or is it like all like modern day home goods? Like, which
It's
one is
kind of
it?
who
Yeah.
It's odd.
It's an odd one. I wonder what when you read the charms, Carrie Paris, who makes these, is a friend of ours, and she's been on the show. She tells you the first thing you do is you're like, what is it in reality? Okay, it's a candelabra, but what does that mean to you? And I'm like, I don't know, maybe a religious symbol? I don't know.
And this one
But to
does
me,
look religious.
sorry, Megan.
Oh, no,
Go
sorry.
ahead.
I was going to say, and this one does look religious, but I just realized we had it upside down. There's the detail.
Oh. What does it mean to you, Dakota?
But to me, like a candelabra, like I picture kind of like the whole, because I mean, I'm dramatic. The whole,
Really?
like taking the candelabra and going down the dark hall and have it illuminate, you know,
Right.
just enough to where you still have that fear, but you have just enough light to keep moving forward.
Oh, yeah, that's beautifully
Yeah.
said. Yeah. Cool.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. I look forward to
you're
seeing you
welcome.
Friday.
Yeah.
And then you guys make sure, everybody listening, that you sign up for all the great things for the gallery on Saturday night from 7 to 8. We only take 40 people. And then his readings are booking up quickly. Those are on Saturday and Sunday. I'm not sure which day. One of them's already sold out, so just call the store.
I think it was Saturday. is
Saturday's
what
sold out.
I
so
think is what I'd heard.
yeah, there's some on Sunday morning, and then Sunday the mediumship class, which is just, I'm taking that, and that's from 2 to 6. So we're gonna have fun in there.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So
I'm
it'll be
really
great.
looking forward to it, because whenever I've taught my psychic development classes here in Shreveport, it's people that are like, that take that class and they're like, well, I don't think I have that gift. I don't think I have it. I'm like, well, mediumship takes a long time to develop, first and foremost. But I'm going to give you the foundation blocks. And by the time they leave that class, they're reading the objects that I bring. They're reading for each other. And they're like, wait, I can do this. I'm like, well, you're starting out. But yeah, you know what to do now. You know how to focus on it now.
Right, and so for that, make sure if you do sign up that you bring some sort of picture, some sort of photograph, and be on time. Be there at 1:45, because he starts without you. You get every penny's worth. All right.
I'm really kind of mean about that. That's the only thing I mean. Like, if it is at 2:00, I start at 2:00.
He
I
does.
will.
No, that's
But,
good.
You know, and one thing that's really cool is I'm actually bringing up a few pieces of my own collection of my weird, macabre history. And I'm actually going to be passing those things around for everybody to go and get a read off of, too. So you're going to be able to actually hold some really cool, they're actually museum pieces of artifacts from my collection from different footnotes of history. And you'll be able to hold these objects, read these objects, and then find out what you pick up on it, but also getting to hold a really cool historical piece.
That's
Cool.
great.
Yeah, it's going to
Love
be
that.
fun. So thank you. And you guys make sure you call in and sign up. And I'll see you this weekend, Dakota.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to
Yeah.
it.
So thanks everyone for joining us. We appreciate you listening in. Don't forget to subscribe to our station or to our show, either on YouTube or on any of your podcast channels. Keep third eye thinking, and we appreciate you. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.